Hi, everyone.
Hi, Adriana. Okay. Welcome to the Regen Network Community Dev Call. In these calls, we do a quick overview of what's happening at Regen Network. So I'm going to share, as always, a quick slideshow, and we'll have different people from the team reporting on different aspects that are happening on the dev and science side, and then we try to keep that to 10, 15 minutes at max, and then sort of open it up to have conversations. So just gonna fire up my screen share here and pop on the presentation. Hopefully my internet connection is solid enough to handle this. I've been having some internet overload issues here. So cool, welcome. Sorry,
is this one?
I'll change the date later. No need to worry about it now. So cool, let's just sort of jump right in. I'm gonna pass it off to Corey, who is our blockchain product manager, and let you just do a quick update.
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Here, I'll just turn on my video. Hey, so on the protobuf migration side, that's continuing to move along. This is the largest sort of epic that we're playing a role in, and kind of like leading along with Alexander Bez for on the Cosmos SDK side of things. Fee Grant, which was an old module that we'd worked on, is getting migrated to protobuf. That might actually be done at this point, I think. I don't know, Anil, if you can confirm that.
It's pending for review.
It's pending review, yeah. The message authorization, which was a module that that also we had been working on as part of an earlier ICF grant proposal, that is getting migrated over. The larger protobuf migration, there's a meta issue in the Cosmos SDK repository that if you're going to this live slide deck, you can see. But the quickest way to get to that actually is to look at the projects on the Cosmos SDK repository, and it's tagged in the version 0.39 release of the Cosmos SDK. And so in general, for like the higher level overview of how the protobuf migration is coming along, that's where you can follow that. And the other bigger update on the protobuf migration is that Aaron, our CTO, submitted just a few days ago a kind of ADR architecture design sort of artifact, ADR 021 for specifically the protobuf query support. So how queries are going to be handled in this new protobuf compatible version of the Cosmos SDK. So that's kind of being discussed now, and will hopefully be sort of signed off on shortly, at which point the actual development work for query support can begin. On the ecosystem service credit spec that we've been working on, that unfortunately had been kind of on hold for a little bit as other things were coming up in our priorities, namely getting aligned on sort of future Cosmos SDK work, and also trying to support figuring out some of the open team stuff that we've had to focus on recently. But now it's actually kind of come back, and in the past few days, we've got that RFC to a state where it's getting kind of internally reviewed this week. And my hope is that by the end of the week, we can have a document to kind of share more with the community. Again, as a high level overview of what this is an RFC for a first draft of like how credits will be represented on Regen Ledger, and what kind of functionality will be enabled with, together with that ability to kind of allow users to issue credits and to define like a credit designer different from a credit issuer, and design and allocate credits to projects. So look for more on that soon. I can share that in the Telegram channel when it's ready. Then to Open Team Work Package support, there's been a lot of conversations with the Open Team community that I've been a part of. This is the federal grant initiative that Regen Network is a member of, that involves a lot of other open source projects in the agricultural and specifically soil health space. And right now we're working on on defining a set of work packages. And my role in those conversations especially is to figure out what the scope of any kind of blockchain and ledger work will be within those conversations. So that's kind of in the early ideation phase right now. We're sort of aligning on exactly what the language is for those and what the expectations are around them. But hopefully it's kind of good, will be able to be used as a first sort of use case for a lot of the ways that we want to, for understanding better the ways that we want to track ecological state claims on chain. That will kind of get driven through this work. And then the last thing that I'll say is we are having our first Cosmos SDK and Regen Network combined iteration planning tomorrow. So the folks from the Regen Network will be part of that together with Alexander Bez, who's been leading a lot of the Cosmos SDK efforts. And this will be us kind of trying to get more aligned in terms of how we do Cosmos SDK development as Regen Network starts to step into playing a bit more of a proactive role in that project more generally. That's it for me.
Fantastic. Thanks, Corey.
Yep.
So I'll share a couple of CosmWasm testnet updates, and Anil, I may have you speak to this as well, but I'll just sort of read off what's here, and then we can see if there's anything to add. So we're just about to test the skip upgrade function, which is the first time that that's been tested on a CosmWasm at any kind of scale. And so we're looking forward to see what happens. Essentially, that's a feature set for if a network upgrade needs to be skipped for some reason to keep the chain live. So there's information there for those of you who are working, and obviously this has all also been shared in the updates channel, so there should be nothing radically new here. And then just looking forward, the next phase coming up is phase 4, and that's going to start on the 7th of April and run to the 9th of April. And essentially we're working on deploying an escrow contract. And obviously this has a big sort of central use case in some of the use cases that were outlined in the Regen Network white paper around being able to sort of have conditional contracts where money is put up for specific sort of ecological outcomes and then deployed once those have been verified. So we'll be sort of deploying some test contracts in the next phase. So that's very exciting. Neil, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yeah. So about skip upgrade, actually it is like very critical feature because there could be a lot of reasons for software, upgrade failure, and then there might be some cases where we cannot establish consensus. So with this skip upgrade, we will be able to continue. Otherwise, we'll be needing to arm that chain and start new chain. So it will enable a way to just do skip that upgrade, and then maybe you can just have different binaries data with the fixes and that stuff. So that's going to be a cool feature. So this is the first time we are testing that module, that feature from the upgrade module. So I'm excited to see that. And then yeah. So next, I think next phase will be a simple one, deploying some escrow contract and then executing escrow functions. Yeah, looking forward to have more contracts deployments this time, and then yeah, there might be some custom features to add as well. So that will be another bonus. Yep.
Fantastic. Thanks, Anil. Okay, I'll pass it over to Daniel for our registry application layer update.
Thanks, Gregory. Hi, everyone. So this update is a little bit different, which is, what we've heard so far is around the ledger layer, right? And these kind of low-level updates and upgrades. So the registry is an application that's built on top of Regen Ledger, and it serves as a first-class example of what can be achieved with Regen Network's ledger. So we've been in development for several months now, and I'm happy to kind of say that our first pilot project page is live and credit presale has begun. There's still feature development happening, but we have a dedicated production environment that's up and running, that will continually be updated, and that the funder experience here is largely complete. And so, this approach is basically kind of like, from a user experience point of view, it's like we're really looking at, how a funder would view a project, understand what the methodology is, how the soil organic carbon is measured, and what are some of the co-benefits from this farm that's in Australia. And that has, records and data, and they want to list their credit on our chain, on our registry, which is the application here. Meanwhile, and then so from a funder experience, that's largely complete, and there's but under the hood, right, there's still some work to do. So what we're doing there is we're preparing for scale by moving to a database backend that the from a user point of view, you're not going to notice much, but it's giving us the ability to list many more projects. And that's what we're starting down that path now. A few months ago, when we were, after Techstars, we put out a call to numerous land stewards who would like to participate and would like to opt in and use our platform. So we're going to start reaching out to some of those folks and see who'd like to participate in kind of a sort of listing their farms as coming soon. And then we'll continue to connect the application to the ledger, and the direction there that we're headed towards is releasing an SDK that others can then build on top of. So some exciting updates and a lot of momentum, and yeah. Back to you, Gregory.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks so much. That's fantastic. Okay, and then just a quick science team update. We're currently in the process of applying for the Ecosystem Service Marketplace Consortium RFP for monitoring, reporting, and verification development with a group of our existing open team collaborators, including Repliculture, who's the sort of go-to science contractor for the Cool Farm Alliance, and RSci and Quick Carbon. And I just threw a link into this RFP if people are interested in just checking it out. Yeah, it's sort of exciting. It would kind of give our little group within Open Team a little bit of an opportunity to focus on some specific methodology development around soil organic quantification and doing a comparative analysis of different, which is work that we've all been sort of doing ad hoc, but we're sort of hoping to get some specific grant coverage and funding for that to then be able to bring that methodology development just forward. And for people who aren't familiar, the Ecosystem Service Marketplace Consortium, Open Team is a member of, and is a consortium that includes Cargill and McDonald's and Coca-Cola, as well as Noble Research Institute and a sort of a group of other not-for-profits. The Nature Conservancy is part of that as well, which we have a relationship with. And they're going through sort of like the institutional process to develop the Ecosystem Service Marketplace. So we're excited to sort of be seeing how we can connect more explicitly with that community. Okay, so just a reminder, the next community dev call is in 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, and then the validator planning led by the community, the lead validators, including Anil from Bitwit and Joe from Chorus One and Chris from Chainflow, and Adriana is always on, is next week, so please do. So with that, I'm gonna stop my screen share here and just open it up for questions. I usually just stop the recording here